following show may shock, disturb, and offend some viewers. The opinions, theories, and facts shared on this podcast are not widely accepted by the brainwashed masses, especially those who find dark humor offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jeffrey Dahmer soaked in blood. The Unabomber blowing up. Waco, Texas, and Heaven's Gates. Aliens modified, meant for apes. JFK shot in the head by the CIA. Bigfoot and the Mothman. Son of Sam talking to dogs again. Witches, ghosts, and goblins. Mysterious noise and hauntings. Dark arts in the skull and bones. Most celebrities are probably cloned. So if you're feeling all alone, crack a beer and get stoned. I welcome you to the podcast Strange Brew. We're here to entertain you. We're here to entertain you.
It's about to get strange.
Welcome back, everybody, to the show. Welcome back. This is Strange Brew Podcast. I'm your host, Tomcat, aka Tom Thompson, the Raptilian. You can find out my music on all music platforms. This will be something a little different than what we normally do, a little shorter, but we're hoping everyone still really enjoys it. I have John here from News Updates for Real. A lot of you guys will know of his stuff. He's went viral numerous times on the internet. You do some pretty good content. So tell people where to find you, what you do, what you're about, like how you got started with all this shit.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Go watch the YouTube channel because we're getting F'd in the A over on YouTube on a daily basis, but we have some great long form content. The Weekly Rot. Okay. The Weekly Rot. You're going to get all the news you need for the week. You'll sound smarter than your friends. News updates for real. All one word. You got to type it in all one word, or YouTube won't even show you the freaking account.
We're the same thing, man. Same thing. YouTube constantly is shadow banning us. So
one day it'd be so cool to be treated just like a normal creator, or just like some thirst trap. Can I get treated like a thirst trap creator for one fucking day? Ride the algo one time? No. But I mean, that doesn't stop fucking the Daily Mail or Ben Shapiro from literally stealing content from my new show. We've only got 4 episodes in the books. The Daily Mail came out with a Mountain Dew conspiracy article featuring Maverick Bailey, who was my guest the previous week. And we talked about the Mountain Dew conspiracy. So they are legit watching and
it's
taking
YouTube
shit from us. And we're up against multinational conglomerates with access to millions of dollars in ad revenue. And frankly, bro, we're out here just grinding because we are. As you can see, I'm in my car because I'm on the road, because I'm actually in the trenches, a man of the people, trying to fucking just, survive out here. So, yeah, go watch the fucking YouTube channel, fam. And also, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's YouTube. It's quite clear. I'm surprised they've let some of our stuff stay up, and we've been definitely shadow banned to some extent. We just passed 2,000 people, but that took forever, right? And the stuff that we're doing and creating in 2015 would have been blown up on YouTube. Some of the conspiracy stuff that we've covered, and especially the more controversial stuff, the times have changed, and they only push out certain people now more than ever, right? And you're also Canadian.
Right? Yeah, I am up here. I'm up here in Ottawa, Canada. So our country's version of Washington. It's a lot colder though.
Yeah, I'm also Canadian, and thank God I'm not near Ottawa because that place is a cesspool.
There's a lot of bureaucrats up here, my friend. A lot of bureaucrats.
True. People don't understand how corrupt Canada is. But I don't know. Let's start getting this. What kind of started you down this rabbit hole?
I worked in politics. I worked in the cesspool for 10 years, bro.
Did you actually?
Yeah. I wore the suit. I was up in there every day, 10 years. I worked for both conservatives and liberals. I was known for starting something called Friday Night Caucus, in which I would get 50 conservative staffers up in my office, crushing alcohol, ripping lines off my big fucking wooden desk I had in there, 23 years old. That's what they did up there back then. I'm sure it's
still going on.
Yes.
Now they just have a child in the room with them where they just use and abuse.
Man, we used to, I'll fucking name drop these turds because a lot of them aren't even in politics anymore. But, Randy Hoback, Eddie Holder, smoking cigars with those guys while they talked about how hot the secretaries they hired were.
And how great Epstein Island was?
No, those guys were never. Those guys weren't invited. They're not.
Yeah.
They were nobodies. They're backbench. You know the thing, like a backbench member of parliament, in Canada, a backbencher, pretty much can do whatever they want because no one gives a fuck about what they do, and they damn well know it. In fact, it's like probably the best job in Canadian politics you can get because you clear 150, your life is paid for 4 years, and no one pays attention to anything you do. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. I think politics is fake as fuck, and there doesn't matter what side you align with or vote for. They're all parasites, and they're all just stealing our money. We pay what 5-6 months out of the year to the government to just steal shit from us.
Well, don't worry. They send a lot of it overseas too,
or to cater to immigrants and all that stuff. So that's fun.
Sure.
What got you into this stuff though? Like, what made you like shift directions? Was there anything that was specific that like clued in? Like, I was like 17 looking at like harp videos and listening to David Icke. So that was like what kind of tune that? What tuned you in?
Literature, reading, Joseph Heller, J.D. Salinger. I mean, Bret Easton Ellis. A lot of people go, man, we're living in a weird time, man. I'm also an author. I've written 3 novels. Confessions of Middle-Aged White Man, available on Amazon. Fucking hilarious novel. I wrote that when I was 26. So I picked, I follow you both. Sweet collab. Shout out to you, man. How you doing? Look, at the end of the day, people are always like, bro, how do you seem to like have your finger on so many different pulses, yada, yada. And it's like, literally, there's no magic secret to it. Just read some fucking books, fam. No one be reading anymore. Like, I swear I've been on dates, bro. I've been on dates in the past year. And these chicks are not, you know how you used to say like, people used to be embarrassed when they say, I don't read books. They'd be embarrassed about it. Motherfuckers are out here bragging about it now. And
of course.
I don't know what to do with that, bro. It's not.
I had to put like, cause my kids on the way, I had to put a lot of books away. But I'm reading like a book right now called Not Stolen. Essentially, how the land is not stolen and all that shit is just made up bullshit, over exaggerated, in a large extent. I'm also reading Illuminati.
I just want you to know that I disagree with that fucking 100%. By the way, I grew up on a res, so that's cool. Whoever wrote that book can literally, I'll debate them into the fucking ground and I'll eat their lunch.
Well, how can
want to say that?
Yeah, but like, how can it's not stolen land though? Because I grew up with natives. I actually literally have native family, but every place on earth has been colonized and conquered and settled on. This guy is literally a renowned historian that pushes against the mainstream. And I've had debates about this. I've had a native guy on the show where we both agree about the sentiments of like the white Europeans, the actual Canadians, and the natives.
Who actually owns Canada? The fucking
yeah, of course. But like the Canadian people are like Canada as a nation is the people. It's not the government. It's not the land. It's not the monarchy. It's the people.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would love to squat up with all the reserves and just fucking in Minecraft take the country back.
Well, I had Adrian the Realist on recently, and we talked about this stuff about like us bringing everyone together to fight against the globalist agenda, which is to for sure take over Canada and destroy it from within. They're already doing it, right? But I'm a nationalist. I care about my country. I've done a lot of research into the history of this country, and people need to kind of stick together against this shit instead of fighting each other every chance they get.
That's where it's at. That's where I'm at with everything, right? Like at this point, it should be, I don't know, 6.5 billion versus the rest, because all of us are on the same side against this very small number of people who do seem to be
controlling everything.
Nice and distracted and divided, making us fight over cultural issues, taking it back to, unwinnable arguments, I like to call them, my friend. It's when they pit us against each other on these kind of ideological lines where there's not often definitive. Human nature and human experience is a very profound and wide spectrum, you feel me? So there is often not one distinct right answer, especially when you get into some of these hairy topics that they purposely choose to make us fucking fight about, because there's no right answer. So no one will ever win the argument. You could never win that argument, right? So at the end of the day, I'm just sick of the whole. I think going back what you said earlier. Your vote doesn't matter. There's no liberal, conservative. I don't know who still votes NDP, but if you're dumb enough to vote NDP, like they're all funded by the same companies. They are all funded by the same money. So you look at social changes, sure, they happen. People fight about it. Bureaucracy, nope. Bureaucracy just keeps getting bigger. The debt keeps getting bigger. They keep spending. Those things aren't going to change. Privacy keeps going away. Fucking invasion of our, something we used to call freedom. We call it privacy now. But they're tapped in, listening, watching.
That's what happened after 9/11. It's just like they create all these manufactured crises, and that's why the whole stolen land thing is another, I believe, a rhetoric to divide people, and that's part of what they're doing to divide the nation. And if you study cultural Marxism, it is victims and villains fight against each other, and then they can take over and stuff like that. And we see this constantly.
Yeah, I've been down that road. The one philosopher talks about that. I think it's Nietzsche. But basically, in a society full of victims, they're pretty easy to manipulate. So
yeah. And we see this cultural divide. And that's part of the reason everyone's obviously aware that this invasion, because that's what it is, in my opinion, of what's happening to Canada with foreign diasporas of people coming into the country that don't share the same cultural identity as us. That is also being used because diversity means division, because you're constantly going to have people fighting with each other.
I'll give you a good one. I worked in 2 elections out west in Alberta, and this might blow people's mind, but Alberta is not exactly what you think it is, because I went out there with Tim Uppel to Edmonton Millwoods. They called it Killwoods. I used to go watch fights at the McDonald's there. You'd see one every night. It was a good time, but it was actually not a good time. I fucking hated it. But Tim Uppel that year, 2015, he lost by 80 votes, but they would bust in. I'll put it this way. We were in Canada, right, in Edmonton. Tim Uppel is a Sikh man. God bless Tim. He was an okay boss. He had a family of about 150. So our volunteer office was a goddamn warehouse where the Indian women were cooking lamb out back in a massive bucket of oil. What do you think of that?
That's why, and
what do you think of that? Like, that was the Canadian election, 2015.
See, and that's I'm not a fan of India or Indians, and that's just my opinion. Especially Sikhs and stuff with the Khalistani movement. I don't think you should be in politics if you're not of Canadian heritage.
You don't think it's a good thing they're busing in women who can't speak English and who are told which fucking little fucking thing to circle? That's democracy, baby.
I know, mob rule, right? It's the illusion of choice. Look what they're doing now.
Women didn't speak English. I promise you. Swear to God. It's like,
and that because where the direction's going. Obviously, Mark Carney was installed. That guy's got ties to obviously the World Economic Forum, Bilderberg Group, the royal family. Like that guy's got
buddies with Trump. Yo, check this out. Brookfield is the company that Jared Kushner helped Qatar lease that 666 Fifth Avenue, Manhattan, downtown prime commercial real estate, billions of dollars, baby. Brookfield works hand in hand with Jared Kushner. Mark Carney is intricately connected with Brookfield. So, as I said out the gate, I think Trump and Carney are probably buddies, frankly.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Why? Oh yeah, and the pencil vote too. Yeah. Why wouldn't they be? Right? It's a banker guy, and then a fucking, and then a billionaire. Right? So they're all in on it, and like I'm someone that's been criticizing Trump for a long time. A lot of people are getting on this board of like, he's going to change things in the QAnon shit. And I'm like, he kissed the wall. He wore the hat. He is, it's the Jew world order. It's not the new world order.
He's flipping the script now all of a sudden since Saudi Arabia gave him a bunch of money. I'm very interested to see where he goes with all this. But what people need to realize is, this could be just part of the plan. Netanyahu is considered he's considered a moderate, So the next person that comes in after Netanyahu will be even more, he'll have some even more intense plans for what he wants, and
Well,
That's
Netanyahu's a
that might
genocidal
be
maniac.
exactly
So.
that might be exactly where they're trying to get this, right? So I don't know exactly. Sometimes, man, all the shit going on right now. I'll say this: it is hard to predict what happens next because, yeah, I didn't see the Trump note acknowledging Palestine as a state coming. That one came out of the blue to me, but he is.
No, I know, and I've had two different guests on that are both Christian, obviously, because that's where all this stuff comes from, is biblical philosophy, and they think Trump is the Antichrist, and that you have to win people over and all that shit. And one guy, Dustin Nemoys, has a pretty big following. A lot of people like him, but he's convinced that the world is coming to an end, and it's all biblical prophecy. And I don't subscribe to that because I'm not religious, and I think religion has also been manufactured to divide and conquer people for sure. But there's a lot of weird shit happening all the time, and you can't really keep up with it of like what their next plan is, because it's obviously like all the stuff is being collapsed in on itself.
I think it could be a good sign, because I think they're having to pivot because their little ploys are not working as easily as they used to, because there's people waking up to it. And, some people take a more extreme view on it. You seem to have a pretty focused, specific one that, I'd like to stay clear of, because frankly, I just don't want to echoing history to me. It just seems like we are caught in this perpetual cycle. And I'm sure you're familiar with it, the 80,
yes.
100 year, 200 year, the 250-year cycle of an empire even. And by the way, it is America's 250th birthday, literally this year.
Of course.
So,
no,
yeah.
my just
we
my
are
stuff
right on
comes
track
from
for that.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
My stuff just comes from the love for my own people, right? I'm gonna have a kid on the way and stuff like that, and like we did the Kalergi plan, we've done the Protocol Elders of Zion, we've covered all this stuff of like essentially, which I believe is a systematic destruction of white people. And one of my co-hosts is in Ireland. I talk to people all around the world, and it's all happening conveniently all at the same time, just as COVID did, where all of our countries are being flooded with foreign diasporas of people. So, and I think that that's part of it. And if we don't stick to these tribalistic views, people will die in very large numbers. They're already doing it. It's happening all around the world.
Hey, look, man, do I think it's a good thing we pumped 6 million fucking immigrants into this country over the last 10 years? Not really, no. Having said that, it's a much more trickier thing that you got to break down all these. Like, people don't realize this. We ain't letting in the poor refugees. Like, the liberals like to pretend that we bring in these starving, and there's a small percentage that are. Most of these motherfuckers are of the upper class in these countries. They're the only ones that can afford to do the paperwork to come here. And I know that from working in the system for 10 years. So you're bringing in like mass amounts of people with political and business ties who are now converging on our politics. Back when Tim Uppel, when I worked for him in 2015, so 10 years ago, he was the only dude with a turban that worked in Parliament.
Yeah.
How many are there now?
And the Conservative, it's like 14 or something like that.
No, he was the only one in the entire fucking.
I'm saying now
yeah,
it's like
now there's 30. There's probably 30 of them.
Yeah.
30 or 40. And I mean, listen, I like I said, Tim Uppel, good boss. I worked for Darshan King. He was fine too.
Do you think these people are going to take care of Canadians? They're going to take care of their own people. It's been proven time and time again.
The Service Canada meeting we had in Calgary Skyview. Another fucking I don't know. I don't like Alberta very much. My experiences there have not been great. Anyways, we go to this thing, and there's me and the 3 Service Canada girls were the only white people there. And these old men are screaming. These old Sikh men are like, "You didn't let my fucking entire family at 20 in. Shame on the government." And I'm like, bro, what the fuck is happening? What is this?
I see, and the problem is eventually if they get enough seats, they're just gonna take care of their own people. Shaft Canadians aside, it's happening. Like, we're essentially the youth of this country is breaking their back to pay taxes to a bunch of parasites.
That's the other thing, though. I like that you address that. That is the flip side. Here's the problem: our healthcare system and our old age welfare system will collapse.
Yep.
Within 10 years, because we just didn't fuck enough. We don't have enough kids. There's not enough. And our mom's like, what? You're about my age, eh? Like 30. I'm 37. So
33.
Okay, fuck, I would kill for 33 again, only. So basically, our parents left us in just they've crashed the car into the ditch. The car caught on fire. They got out, they slammed the door, and they said, "Here you go, bucko."
Yeah,
Deal with it.
they told
They did.
Canadians in the 80s that we were overpopulated. They did this
No.
on purpose. Pierre Trudeau and stuff like that, when he got in, he pushed this whole thing of the Immigration Act to let anyone from anywhere become Canadian. And I don't think to be Canadian is some sort of piece of paper or passport. I don't think you can just come here and then walk on our soil and become Canadian. That's not how it fucking works. But like they've had this plan to systematically destroy Europeans for a long. I've read so much shit about this. It's quite clear it's what's happening. And now we're being replaced and systematically destroyed. And everyone's like, oh, if you bring that up, you're racist. But that's the biggest conspiracy theory. Like I would like to hear what your favorite conspiracy theory is. But like I love the whole reptilian stuff. Like that shit's fascinating to me. I've read a lot of books going into that. David Icke, one book is massive. I've had shadow people experience, mess around with Ouija boards. I've seen UFOs, all that stuff. But the actual realist, like it's real as real gets conspiracy theory that I've watched unfold is the systematic replacement of white people all around the world. My buddy's in Ireland. It's getting fucked there. They're just paying for their own destruction, same as everywhere we are.
Ireland's really bad, but at the same time, I think it's important to like notice that things are bad everywhere, like Serbia, Turkey, Israel, even they don't report this on the news. There are massive protests in Israel because the Israeli people are not down with what's happening. It's governments. At the end of the day, it is governments that are doing this egregious shit. Most people, and I hope that I can take, even these new people, these new Canadians, if they can get on board with the movement to vote independent and fucking not take part in a corrupt system, then frankly, that's more soldiers for my army. And that's how I try and look at it. I know it's not that simple.
No, it's not going to work out that way. If you notice,
you might be surprised. We got a pretty big movement here, brother. You watch me. Just watch. I'll steal Trudeau's little quote. My favorite conspiracy, though, is that the pyramids are power plants. And I don't even think that's a conspiracy anymore. I think that's just pretty obviously true.
Vinny Paz talked about that like 10 years ago in his song.
Straight up. Yeah, fucking Jedi mind trick. Come on now.
Yeah.
Bro, I literally start off my show this week by saying I'm a product of South Park and hardcore underground death metal rap.
Yeah, Necro and all that shit. And like,
of course. Come on now.
So funny. I do my own music where I push the boundaries talking about this stuff. And a lot of like Jedi mind trick stuff like that inspired me because it was like, look at this big ass white kid that's just saying like crazy shit that didn't get he's Italian, right? Didn't care.
He's Italian. He's also a huge Arab.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. I think he shifted and is he's done some certain things I've said this on the show numerous times. I have nothing against anybody. I just obviously caring for my own
he's
people.
Muslim. He's not Arab. He's Muslim.
No, he's a Muslim, which there's plenty of different Muslims. I think religion is a divide and conquer tactic for sure.
It's all based on the sun, fam.
Yeah, all of it. I know.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I am now. I don't know if it's because I'm an old man. You watch what happens in the next 5 years, brother. Something. And if it hasn't happened already, you mentioned shadow people. I mean, I've become spiritual for sure. Something happened. A couple things have happened this past year that's like pretty clear, obvious sign that you're getting a message from somewhere. And I mean, or I'm just losing my fucking marbles, buddy.
Might be. I think we're all losing it. I've been always very spiritual, but like I said, like kind of I want a strange brew turban. We're not doing that. But like
fire.
I believe in bringing people together and stuff like that, and like trying to make all people realize what's going on. But someone in the chat did make a good point. Like, just because you stand on the magic dirt, you're not going to all of a sudden your IQ is not going to double and you're going to stop smelling like shit. Because like this whole thing of like people, they're using people of low IQ from low IQ countries. That's a fact. Like everyone can see it. And for the people that are like, we got to bring everyone together. That's true. People need to realize what's going on. But if you start to see the reflection of the society and what's going on in America with the, Austin Metcalf stuff and all that shit, Everyone hates each other.
Manufactured race baiting.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's happening. I know people have been affected by that shit.
Well, look,
so everyone hates each
simple,
other.
Yeah, people are simple creatures. I like to put it this way, right? Everyone knows that something's wrong, and anyone that's like got half a brain, which most humans do, that half, right? And they got at least half a brain. They're angry, but the problem is people don't understand what to be angry about because they don't see the big picture. They don't see what's happening. So, like the fucking hot dog on a fishing pool with the donkey, you're leaving it on you. It doesn't know what to be angry about. Here's a white woman in the park saying the N-word, or here's a black guy that killed a kid and now he's bought a home for his family because of it. Like, I guarantee you those GoFundMes are chock full of CIA Fed money, baby. I guarantee it. Who's actually giving money to those people? Fucking feds. You fucking, I can't wait. I would love someone to deep dive into that.
That could be true, right? They could be manufacturing both sides to cause division. I will not say that saying the N-word is even kind of compatible to a white kid getting stabbed up for fucking absolutely no reason.
No, I'm just saying, but this is what they do. Like they pit that shit again.
But this tribal warfare shit has existed as long as the day is old. Humans have always been like this. And if shit does hit the fan and we go back to, like, say they knock out the infrastructure, and the whatever, internet, whatever it might be, it's going back to a tribalist society where people will fight and kill each other. If this spiritual awakening does not happen and people don't realize and look up, as I've always said, I've said the same sentiments that you've said, of like everyone's not realizing what's going on. They're all fighting with each other. And I've done videos that have gone viral talking about this. Just look up, see what the fuck you're like. It's the people in control puppeting both sides of politics that are getting everyone to infight each other. But yeah, if they do continually flood the country with foreign diasporas of people, it will destroy the country and we will go back to fighting tribalistically all each other across the world. And it will happen, and then they will laugh at it while it's happening, and everyone will systematically be destroyed, and the New World Order will get exactly what they want.
Yeah, man. I want to just go. We should all meet at Klaus Schwab's $50 million villa if the EMP goes off, or Nunavut. I always thought I could make a good like Eskimo, go up to Nunavut.
Yeah.
Go clubbing with some baby seals. You feel me?
Somebody in the chat, my buddy Troy. He worked up there as a firefighter. He's the guy that emailed you that he's like, yo, you should have John on the show.
Okay, yeah. That's Troy.
Yeah, he's like, you should have John on the show. And I'm like, people may disagree on certain subjects, but we have to understand at the end of the day, we all have to unify collectively against the people that are really pulling the strings on everything, right? And that's what's crazy about people don't understand, and they don't want to come to grips with this. It's crazy watching people fight over like the election and all that stuff.
I know. Do you know Bud? Do you know Jacob Budston? Do you know Bud? It's Buston. I'll introduce you to him. Another good Canadian lad. He's out in New Brunswick. He's got hats that say "Make NB give her again."
That's so crazy. Yeah,
he's on our side. He's so sick of the bullshit, the liberal conservative split that people seem unable to get over. Like, they're both crooks. They're all crooks.
I think Mark Carney was pure evil and Pierre was just stupid.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Look, I knew Pierre. Pierre's wife played on my softball team when I worked in politics, bro. I know all these cunts. I know them all.
He's still a parasite. He's still consuming our time, money.
It is a tough stance to take, brother, and I'm sure you deal with it. Where I find myself on a daily basis, I'm getting attacked by both sides. A lot of love. I mean, honestly, the love always the community always overcomes the hate, but the human nature, you notice the hate. You notice that more. So I can tell you, I've been called a racist, Nazi, and a liberal cuck in the same day on the same video. So it's like you start showing a little critical thinking, a little nuance, and it throws everyone. It's like, it throws everyone into a sense of chaos because they don't know how to handle it.
I know. My team. What about my team?
Yeah. I can't categorize this guy, so I'll just call him a racist or something.
Fighting over colors, because that's all it is. Like I've called out Pierre and Mark Carney, and like, and I did videos calling out Pierre. And as soon as people like see that, they're like, "Oh, you must be a liberal." And I've done videos where I'm like, I'm not as naive and gullible as you, where you just are like my team and this team and that. And then you get people constantly fighting each other. And I'm like, Pierre's walking around wearing fucking turbans on his head every other day. And then it's like, and you wonder, oh, he's really going to stick up for Canadian people. And then you have Mark Carney, who I'm like, anyone that even kind of caught wind of this guy should already know this guy's a full-blown globalist.
His wife is friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. That is not fake. That is real. Like,
no.
Look, at the end of the day, we're living in a world. It's a world of absurdity, and it makes it hard for me to justify like taking part in it, because it's like, bro, we all know that this, island existed where people went, and we all know that that's terrible and everyone hates it, but it doesn't stop them from just blindly voting for a guy like Mark Carney, who in my opinion, speculative, has connections to that world. So,
yeah, he does for sure. I've called this out and someone's like, I'm still going to vote for him. Even though like there's tons of people in comments that I've saw people be like, I'll still vote for him. Even though he has connections to like a Mossad pedophile ring, because that's what it wasn't Jeffrey Epstein's island. It was Mossad's island. And if people think that's the only island, there's like underground tunnels. There's like all sorts. They have like technology and things that most people couldn't even grasp. Their mind would blow up.
Trump literally said that. He literally said they're not even hiding that anymore. Trump said that in a press conference about a month ago. He said, yeah, we've got weapons the world doesn't even know or couldn't even comprehend. And that's what he said. And he's talking about some sort of alien tech, whatever you consider aliens at this point, right? But like, what do you
think about the aliens? Do you think it's like a government psyop and they manufacture?
Bro, I always say this. I say my whole life, like I grew up on X-Files, motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mulder. Like I believed in aliens my entire life. I did science projects on aliens. But now that the government is coming out and telling me that they're real, I don't know if they exist anymore.
Dude, that's what it's funny how much we do think alike on a lot of those conspiracy side topics, because like the paranormal was the first thing I got into. I've messed around with Ouija boards and I was like 12 or whatever. Be like, there must be something else out there, right? But like UFOs, I was so fascinated by aliens, like 16, 17, watching all like when YouTube was fun. And you could find all these like crazy docs, and I read books about this stuff, like David Wilcock books. Like he was an interesting dude to say the least. Yeah. And it's funny now recently on the show, like I was like, oh, they got to be out there. Hopefully one day they realize humanity's waking up, so maybe we can ascend to this higher level of consciousness. But then as soon as the government starts saying stuff, I'm like, oh, do they like manufacture all this shit? Like even there's theories that like the Barney and Betty Hill alien abduction was like manufactured, and they just gave them a ton of drugs and like wore like Nazi uniforms and made them think that they saw aliens and shit.
Wait, are you implying that the government would give citizens drugs unknowingly and perform tests on them? That's never happened before.
Tuskegee experiment, what they did in New York, where they like gave everyone acid and shit, which is wild. Imagine you're just walking down the street and you're like drinking the tap water or some shit, and then you're like, whoa, and you're like another dimension.
Trust your government, guys. They will do that. They will do that.
It's so crazy. That's why when you're like that meme of the file folder and it's like all the things like MK Ultra, which all has been admittedly true.
It's not even conspiracy anymore. No, it's just true. Just facts. You look at a guy a guy like James Holmes talking about old YouTube docs. I remember there's this. So James Holmes' father was a massive banker involved in the currency scandal, which occurred back in like 2011, where British banks got caught artificially cranking up currencies, and basically it was a giant fraud scheme. Well, James Holmes' father was the guy that came up with the algorithm for that.
Of course.
I don't know, like that's like crazy to me. And then you look at that dude sitting in trial, and you're like, that guy is on drugs. That dude is not in his right mind. And I think having said that, these tragedies do occur, and then I think we're given patsies, giving patsies. Shout out Luigi, free Luigi. I don't think he killed that man. I don't think Luigi shot that Brian Thompson guy.
No, it's the same thing with like Oswald and all these people. It's like manufactured, right? You start looking at that stuff. Weirdly, as conveniently as it always goes back a lot of times to Israel. There's a lot of ties to that people don't want to acknowledge. But if you look at like all of these royal family, the Habsburgs, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all these people that are just even the surface level of these like royal, quote unquote, royal families and these dynasties that we see. I think they're only that's just the face. I think there's like it goes deeper than that.
At the end of the day, I think some, there's definitely there's something to what you're saying. I can't deny it, but at the same time, I can't help but think it's just a collaborative, a big team effort. If you have $1 billion, I don't think they care if you're Muslim, Jewish, Christian, black, white, gay, straight. They'll take you. You can be part of the team,
and they'll make you fuck a kid, and then they'll get it on film.
Yeah.
It's all part of it, dude.
Like for some reason that is like part of it now. Like I've tried to I think me and you try and approach these things from like let's approach it from a not already crazy aspect. I'm not trying to I said, I don't blame people for having lost the way, whether they've become a full-on Trumper or a liberal in Canada or a complete conspiracy theorist that is unwilling to even look at facts now. They think everything's made up. I understand what's happened to them. I always blame the system, but there are a lot of lost people right now. Let's be real, right? And but at the end of the day, if we just try to generalize it, break it down, it's the same people, trying to take out Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso that are pitting us against each other via racial and class lines. So if we could just all stop fighting, if we could all just stop fighting.
Do you think that's going to happen though? I really highly doubt. I highly doubt that people are going to stop fighting. And it's clear that when I was younger, I was like, by the time I'm this age, I thought the New World Order type of stuff was going to come later. I'd be like in my 50s or 60s. This stuff wouldn't be happening. And now a lot of the stuff is happening. And to be honest, I've more or less kind of lost hope that people are really going to get it. They could manufacture an alien event and then everyone bring them together and then be like, oh, this is your new God now. The government is God.
Yeah, Project Bluebeam. That's where we're headed. I mean.
And the AI stuff.
AI, we're already too far gone. Look, man, I honestly agree. It's like this. When I see that shit about, the massive blackout in Spain, Portugal, and I'm like, damn, that sucks.
That's weird.
That's a rough adjustment, right? But maybe it's for the best. I don't know, bro.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting. I'll let you go in a sec, but it's it's because I said whatever, how long you want to do or whatever, but
it's perfect. I think we nailed it. I think we got to the root of a lot of the things that are causing a lot of the discussion, the discourse in today's world. And I'm just going to end, for some reason, I like this. It's very rare I get placed in a conversation with someone where I get to play the optimist. So I'm going to take advantage of that and just say, there is hope still. And I only say that because look at my community, look at your community. Somehow we've been allowed to, we're still here. There are a lot of like-minded individuals. There's a lot of people with some neurons firing in their brains that were put to sleep for a long time by propaganda. I think people are coming out of it. I think the whole Schmovid experiment backfired. I think rather than putting people in a state of complacency, it woke a lot of people up. And I'm going to try and ride that, even though they literally are trying to shut me down in every way possible. The censorship we deal with is crazy. So please, one more time, guys, after you watch this shit, go sub to the YouTube and enjoy some great fucking content. It's the best shit I've done. I interviewed the girl that got detained by ICE, 2 weeks ago.
I heard about that.
I interviewed Base Forge Static in the Attic this week. I mean, we got the top list A-tier guests. And, me usually falling over my chair, drinking. Just go watch this show. I love y'all, for real.
See ya, dude.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah, man. See ya, man. Okay. Jesus. I'll finish it off. I'm here anyway, now I am the news. Just want to fix my camera. Actually, I'm going to put myself back where I was. I like that. I was going to ask about Bohemian Grove, but we didn't get there, and people might have I think he's coming at it, especially all the followers that he has. He's coming at it at a good perspective of trying to, I've been like that for a long time of I've had friends and family of all walks of life, color and creed, But I have obviously honed into a specific topic of being like, yeah, this is kind of weird. And at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But I'm more in the mindset that things are going to get really bad and people are going to go back to tribalistic attitudes. And the people that will survive that will be the ones to build a new world. But at this point, right, like Billy makes the point, he made a point yesterday where they got drones and fucking robot dogs with guns on their back and all sorts of things. So God knows what, unless people do realize what's going on, whether they be black, white, fucking brown, whatever it may be, and they realize Christian, Muslim, and they realize what's going on, and they collectivize against the one true enemy, which I don't think is going to happen. Then that's the only way out of this. But if it gets to this point where they push people tribalistically back to the way it used to be, and maybe they destroy the quote unquote old world as they've done before, in my opinion, and then they create this new world order, which they've been writing about for a long time, then we'll really see where this goes, right? I'm like, it's interesting to have people on because people don't need to agree on everything for everyone to realize what's going on, because at the end of the day, I always say this, they're coming after all of us. The people that are being flooded into the country, stuff like that, because that's a big issue in my opinion. They don't realize what's going to be happening to them. They're just like, oh, a new opportunity, great. I've literally heard this from tons of people that have come here as immigrants, but like, we think Canada's like gold. And it's like, yeah, because we built everything. And then you just get to take advantage of the things that we built. And that's the way I view it, because that's the way that it is. There's factual history based in all of the things that I've said, because I've actually looked into things and said things. We might disagree on the stolen land thing. All land is stolen. All land's been conquered and settled on. And natives were colonizing each other. So all that stuff is like ridiculous for people to even argue about that, because there's literally documented historical footage and historical writings that's what was happening. But people need to stop fighting each other literally over these. It's cultural Marxism. That's what's happening. Most people don't want to grasp this stuff. Yeah, it was a good episode. Funny, serious. It was all sorts of things. We have a lot of stuff coming for the show. I'm really excited. I'm sitting on a bunch of content for the people that don't know. We're way behind on the audio side of stuff. So the time you guys hear this could be a couple weeks out. And so I'm just going to keep building up content. I have a bunch of more controversial topics, like the Francis Sabbatarian cult or whatever you call that. That's, I have stuff about cultural Marxism stuff. I believe there's a lot of crazy things. We're going to be talking about fun cryptids and all that stuff too, but I do, I'm going to focus, is going to be like a conspiracy, then true crime, then cryptid, then paranormal, and try to do it that way. But there are certain topics that I really want to expose of what's going on, because I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, this physical world that we exist in, I can't live outside of there and be like, oh, there's all these aliens and, the aliens are going to come help us. Because that's the way I used to think when I was like 17, 16. I was like, if something goes wrong and people, if something really goes bad, that aliens will show up and they'll like help us because we deserve it. I don't know if we really deserve that to begin with. If you look around at how people act toward each other, how they treat each other, how they put each other in boxes. I'm guilty of it to some extent too. But yeah, I can't just watch the systematic destruction of my people, the people that I love and care about, because people think it's racist or bigotry or whatever, right? But it'll be interesting to see, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to break down to expose. I was going to say more of the physical aspects of what's going on. We'll always be talking about aliens and the true crime and the paranormal, because that's always just fun and hilarious to ponder over these ideas of like, do these monsters exist? And, this person got like molested by a ghost, like, who knows? But I do like breaking down. My favorite subjects have been like the Kalergi plan, even though it's very, very serious. And me and Aaron were both very angry about the situations that we're facing right in front of us, the things that we can clearly see with our eyes, protocols, all that stuff made me. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Don't really care about your opinion, but that's nice. Yes. Bob and Doug McKenzie. Yes, that's why we call the show Strange Brew Podcast, is literally because of Bob and Doug McKenzie. The movie Strange Brew is based on a conspiracy that they're trying to brainwash people through beer and stuff like that. So that's nice that you think I'm piggybacking on it. We're doing that because the show started off as two Canadians getting drunk in a basement. That's how the show started. But that's cool. That's cool. You have an opinion. Don't really care about it. That's nice. That's nice that you think that. Don't give a fuck though. We was two guys in a basement. Well, how am I supposed to know? It's through a text, okay? It's through a text. That was comedy. It's through a text, okay? I can't. Sometimes on people in the chat the other day on the 7 Years of Strangeness, someone was like, said something, and he was like, I was kidding. And I'm like, I can't fucking tell. Put LOL at the end. I don't know. But like, that's why I started the show, was just have fun with my friends. But some of these topics that we're going to get into, I think people need to see what's going on. Like there's a clear problem that we're facing all around the world. And yeah, it is this point. I'll say it again, is, we can hope for, wishes and fishes or whatever that term is, but we can hope for everything in the world. We can hope that, the QAnon conspiracy and Trump is going to save us. That's not true. We can put our faith into parasitic politicians. That's not going to matter. We put our faith in the aliens or Jesus. And you see that, Jesus sees all. Jesus is going to save us. I wasn't kidding. I was pointing at that bashing a conspiracy podcast on a film is dumb. What is that? I wasn't kidding. Two guys, one brew. Yes. Was pointing out that bashing a conspiracy podcast on a comedy film is dumb. Have you seen me basing? Yeah, basing. Well, it started off as we are technically a comedy podcast. That's how it started. I know you may be new here, but I've been doing the show for 7 years. We started off getting drunk in a basement, making jokes. So I truly don't care what anyone thinks of me. So you should probably get used to that. If you're going to watch the show, I could really care less about if people don't like the show, don't like me, don't like what we're doing. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for your approval. I'm doing it to try to show people what's going on, have fun with my life and my friends. Yeah, I don't care. Couldn't give a shit. Most people are legitimately retarded. You can't think for themselves, have a low IQ, have never even picked up a book, especially anything in history, have literally been mentally manipulated and conditioned by the world that surrounds them. But at the end of the day, as I was saying, it doesn't matter. You can hope for all these things, Jesus Christ to come save us. All like aliens. Don't worry, you're not going to be on my channel very long. You will get booted. But at the end of the day, these physical aspects of the things that are going on, those are real. Those are what's happening. And if they do get away with what they're planning to do, is collapse the countries all around the world, then it will go back to tribalist kind of warfare and people fighting and collectivizing. So if you're someone that, that this later, hoser, see you later, that someone like, this is people that don't understand what's going on. If you're like, I'm just an individual, I'm just a radical individual, and I'm just gonna be on my own. That's not gonna work out when you have a militia of like 50 guys rolling through and being like, yeah, all your shit that you have, yeah, that's mine. Well, it's just me. I'll fight you all. It's like, that's not gonna work out. So that's why I believe in bringing people together and collectivizing, and trying to wake people up to the fact of what's going on. Because if it does, I would love for aliens or Jesus or whoever to show up and, fix the world that we're in. But I have a feeling that it's up to all of us to do that. So good luck, everybody out there. We have a lot of fun stuff coming because we are a comedy show that we based off of a comedy movie, which is based on conspiracies. So everybody definitely subscribe, like, comment, share, join the Patreon buy. We got some new merch designs up on the site, so check that out. And yes, I'll be off for a month once the kid comes, but my plan is to get stronger, smarter, better, faster. I'm gonna be doing what I can to build up everything I need. Yeah, there is no community that doesn't have some division somewhere. It's true. And I'm not here to everyone needs to get along, you know what I mean? Yes, everyone is just stop fighting each other. It's fucking ridiculous. At the end of the day, yes, we will need to collectivize and bring people together, because I think it's going back to tribalist society. We can clearly see that's what's going on. But yeah, make sure to help support the show. Yeah, the only groups that share that's true. Every opinion is a cult. That's very true. That's legitimately true. Like me and Billy don't agree on half the stuff I say. Me and Aaron are a little more towards we were mostly agree on what we talk about and how we think. That's why we became best friends. But like, yeah, everyone get prepared. But I got some cool stuff coming. There's a bunch of stuff we're sitting on, so get prepared. You know, this was a fun, different style kind of episode from some of the other stuff that we've done. You know, I wish John all the best, and I would have him back on the show because all of us need to stick together. Because everyone needs to realize that they want us to fight each other constantly for the literally stupidest reasons, like politics being super fake and gay. But yeah, everyone support the show. It would be much appreciated. Like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. And I will see you next time. We have a lot of stuff coming.